I think you need to give us your young people and get billions of dollars in basic science funding to attract smart young people into the field. And I think we need to capitalize on this moment in TB product development to make TB an exciting enough area that the smartest young researchers from all around the world are going to enter the field. This is a long wave event, and we're going to need a long-term commitment from both developing and developed countries. So without that basic science, we're not going to get the pipeline that we need, and we're not going to get enough new products.
A couple of things that struck me today. First of all, I think Tony Fauci basically was describing how much of the NIH budget is toward TB. That to me is an indication that this is a disease that doesn't have the appropriate awareness. It's not on the radar screen at the highest levels where it needs to be. Because until that happens, you're not going to get you don't have the resourcing, you're not going to get the interest. How do you want to get scientists interested in this? Well, basically because there's lots of grants and there's lots of visibility. We don't have that today. So I think that's one of the first things that has to be addressed. I think also the concept of public-private partnership has done powerful things. And there's a lot of players who've been involved and who has us on the cusp of basically eradicating polio. It's been a bit resistant the last few years, but we're very close. And it wasn't industry, it wasn't a government, it was basically a whole host of groups coming together with a common objective. And I think that has to happen for tuberculosis.
If you want to get the benefit of growing an early pipeline, having access to the libraries, the science, all the know-how on toxicology, on pharmacology, which has been built up in the pharmaceutical industry, I think it's essential that in one or another way there's a mechanism which is pulling it through. And I think the voucher, which I think is one of the first steps where there is a reward for developing a drug. There is a reward, although it's not that big, but at least there is a reward for pulling a drug through.
So that's interesting. We haven't got to the voucher. So the voucher system's the answer to all the problems?
No, I think it's a first step in order to get to a pull mechanism. There should be others which give benefit to industry in order to use their massive resources to put them at work for tuberculosis. And I'm a big believer that if all industry would pull together and put those resources at work, in 15 years we'll have a decent solution. Otherwise, in 15 years we'll be having exactly the same debate here.
Transformational change is needed all along the value chain. And none of the discussion that we've had in any one area belittles the need for change in every other area, all the way from discovery through market access. So that's there. But in spite of that, which is a huge challenge, and I don't belittle the degree of challenge that's there, I'm still relatively optimistic. When we first floated the ideas of combination therapies, novel combinations, and this is going back 3 to 4 years already, with all the companies that we deal with, which is pretty much everybody. And the concept back then fell like a lead balloon, to be very blunt, with pretty much everybody. And now it's a sea change. It really is. That everybody that walks in now considers it, really thinks about it, from either being committed to saying, yeah, if it makes sense, we're going to do it. And it does have to make sense. But it still is a sea change compared to what really isn't that long a period ago.
Latent TB is a business in the Western Hemisphere, and it would be a high-volume parameter. It is one that is of high urgency, actually, in challenged individuals right now, and potentially even in asymptomatic routine screening and at some point in time if we have better drugs going forward. And that type of an effort can help fund some of the biomarker or other initiatives that would create a TB franchise that could help fund some of the aspects that would take a long time to break even going forward. So look at it more as a package versus individual products.